Hey everyone, wow, so alright, so the day was cool. I tried to get some work done, but I didn't get to that work. I don't remember what I was doing before that until about noon. I went somewhere at 10. I don't know, but I've been pretty much up and at 'em since fairly normal time. Fairly socially acceptable time. So then I got to it, but I didn't actually get much done. Some ideas started to solidify, and others evaporated. I wanted to try something, which is you would have to go in under the tarp in order to enter one of the either of the tents. You couldn't enter it straight on, but that was a terribly stupid idea because then that meant that I couldn't see out of something anyway. So, okay. But what's really interesting about today was my conversation with Aud. Aud came by to hang out, and Aud is a Parisian woman who our friendship started because when she dropped off a bag of stuff for me, and then I saw her again, I recognized her, and I was like, hey, thank you. Then she brought a little more stuff, and then I was like, hey, let's swap emails or something. I can, maybe help you with English or something. Then we just became friends. We never did the English thing. Anyway, okay, so Aud and I had a conversation the other night, which I talked about in the vlog video from that day. And that day, I was saying that there's no such thing as faith, I don't think. Okay, I don't want to go run through all of that again. But that night, I was saying that there is a truth that we can access. Things are objectively logical or not. Things are measurable and knowable. Well, knowable probably also, but definitely measurable. Well, once you get the technology. Anyway, and she was like,
well, things might be logical to you, but not to someone else.
I was saying, no, that's not what logical means. I don't think I said that, but that's not what logical means. Logical means it's consistent within whatever framework you set up. So if you have two different frameworks, then you can't say the system is, wait, hold on. I fucked up. If you have two different frameworks, that could define something being logical for you and not for someone else. The frameworks include your objectives and the information available. The thing is that that's a pretty simple barrier for a lot of issues. It's not this unsurmountable obstacle to agree on objectives and then exchange information so that you have a shared wealth of information. So things can be, yes, logical to an individual, but not, well, no. Things can seem logical to an individual, but not seem logical to another one so it can universally seem illogical because it actually isn't logical within your framework. So then you talk to the person and you get your framework together by exchanging information and setting up your objectives. And I don't know what I'm gonna do about videos going over time. Shit, man. So one time we were playing rep. In this game rep, you say rep when the other person missed something. And miss something, what does that mean? Okay, and that's kind of what the discussion was about. So I taught Aud the game rep. And one time we were playing and I picked up a card and I was about to put it down and she said
rep.
And I was like, well, okay, we really should, agree that it should always be once the move is finished. And then that means, okay, so when I say miss something, what that means is there's this, you have to put cards in the middle. And if you have an opportunity to put a card that belongs in the middle, you need to do it immediately. So I picked up my card and I had a different card that I've wasted so much time on this. Whatever. How do I explain this without you understanding the game? How do I keep this shit under 5 minutes? Okay. Okay. How do I explain? Okay, forget understanding the game. You don't need to understand the game. I moved a card that I shouldn't have. And for me, a move is you pick up a card, you put it down somewhere. Now you've moved a card. If you touch the card, if you pick up the card, if you get damn near about to put it there, you're still allowed to check over everything. Oh shit, I missed this. That's not how I play chess. In chess, you touch it, you move it. But, oh, you know what? And it's for the same reason that could apply to rep as well. Because you see your opponent's reaction to the card. Yeah, so Aud's right, it is a better way to, wait a minute. Okay. So do I agree with Aud entirely now? I'm confused. Is everything about this video bullshit? Okay. No, because that was not the way that it was. No, right, okay, right, yeah, okay. So the way that I understood the game and the way that I taught Aud the game was that we're moving stuff around you know, on our turns. And if you don't do something, and if you don't make a necessary move, if you don't do something that needs to be done when it needs to be done, then the other person can take over. They say rep, and your turn is over. So for me, if I have a card here that I have to put in the middle, for instance, and I have a card here that I don't, let's just assume that you know how to play rep, and I pick up this card and I'm about to put it down somewhere, I have not broken the rule of doing something as soon as you can, because I'm looking at the game not as discrete moments, but as steps, as turns. Not turns, because within a turn you have a lot of coups. So you have a lot of coups, you have a lot of moves, okay. So yeah, because the rule isn't actually about time, it's about that it needs to be your next move. Yeah, right, okay. So that's how I've understood the game and taught it to Odd. Now, whether that's how Mario intended me to understand it, I don't know. So maybe I have the game wrong, which is why I wish I could have had this conversation. So, okay, so the other day, I am about to put this card down, and I have no idea what was happening in that moment. I have no idea whether I was, because I can kind of see myself taking one last glance, hesitating, I don't know, whatever. Or maybe I was literally about to put down and then I stopped, and then she thought,
okay, by this time must be down, rep.
I don't know. But whatever, so I was about to put a card down and I hadn't fully put it down yet, and she said rep, and I froze, and the card is still above the game. And I was like, well, so my concern was not about my gameplay. My concern was in the system. You know, the rules, what am I trying to say? The consistency, fucking system, bro. And the maintenance of the system. Because systems are great. Love the global system right now of 2020, but systems are great. So I was like, wait a minute, no. We can't do that. Because then, you know, where do we draw the line? Because we haven't discussed anything like this. It's always been, I've only been calling rep on you. I didn't say all this right now. I'll go back to what I said. But I've only been calling this on you if you had made the move. So I would watch you intently, and as soon as that card was down, I would say it. Or as soon as you saw your next card, when you flipped your card. You know, and so what would this new system be? It would be what? That would be as soon as you touch the card? Or, as she said at one point, she was like, but there was a clear intention that was what you're gonna do. But she had also said, if you touch a card, if you pick up a card, she said, then that's intention. So when in the pickup process is it? If you touch a card, does it have to leave the top of a pile? I need all my rules, all my games, I need my rules very clear. I don't want anybody, you know, accusing anybody of cheating or leniency or anything. Leniency is great, but you know, I don't want any unfair things. I make my rules crystal clear. Point of fucking rules. I actually hate, this wasn't odd, but I hate when people, what was I gonna say? When they fuck around. No, I don't care if people break, I actually hate when people act like rules don't matter. It's okay if you break them as long as we know what's happening. Okay, you're breaking a rule because I'm letting you win or whatever. Or you're breaking a rule because by chance I gained an advantage earlier. You know, whatever. What am I talking about? I guess you're probably watching me. You know, we ran out of that a long time ago. That's I'm cutting back and forth. You know, I don't even know why this is why. Because I think I have your voice in my head, maybe not yours, but I have the devil's advocate in my head, and he's not convinced at all about what I'm saying. He's like,
oh, no, you just wanna be uptight about rules because you wanna win or
something. I don't even fucking know actually what you think, but it starts something like that. Something about it being to my advantage, and it is to my advantage because the maintenance of a system is nice, because then we know who won and there's no doubt and stuff. But I think it's to everybody's advantage. I'm playing for everybody's advantage. That's all I'm trying to say. Any move I make in a game, besides strategic, anything I do or say regarding the rules in a game is for the benefit of everyone. Or sometimes the benefit of my opponent. Never my benefit. So she kind of like rolled her eyes when I was like, whoa, hey. And she was like,
Okay, come on.
I was immediately offended. Like, what do you, that feels like an accusation to me. I feel that I'm being accused of manipulating the rules to my advantage. And that is a very serious offense to me. Very serious. What can you trust if somebody does that? No, that's no good. That's no good at all. Because if you're doing that, you're making it about a bigger game. I think what I just said is really interesting. But what did I just say? Okay. Visually, there's a coherent imagery that you could associate with this, but I'm not sure whether it actually is of any substance. But imagine a system. Whenever I imagine a system, I basically imagine the skeleton of like a house or a building. So imagine the skeleton of a building. short 3-story, whatever. That's a system. And when you play a game, you enter into a world where you know exactly where the walls are. It's steel frame, everything is crystal clear, cut and dried, square corners, and it's rigid. So you know what's happening. I need to move this to get here, or you know, I don't have any surprises, or I mean, or there's chance and there's surprises, but there's still this structure to sort of catch me or guide me. An establishment of what can, if there's no structure, it doesn't exist, right? On some level, everything needs structure. Can we say that? It doesn't exist without some sort of structure, some sort of maintenance. Can we say that, or is that just for the physical world? I don't know. But imagine this building, this skeleton of this building, beams and rods and all that. If you walk through a wall, so you bust through this wall, you break the wall, you break the rule. You fall through the floor, you break the floor, you break the rule. Then you now exist in outside, okay, assuming you can fall through the bottom floor. You now exist outside of that system. You did not respect the reality of that universe, meaning that it is a fiction within your universe, within a realer universe. I like this. And what game is that? Maybe it's to impress the person. Maybe it's to to show that you're more powerful than the person or something. Maybe it's to, I don't know, to make the person feel like shit. I have no idea what the bigger game is. So I know the imagery makes sense there for me. And it would be really cool if I was an artist and you were watching this happen during this video. This character walking through a wall and out of the building, and that's erupting, and you see that was just like a snow globe almost in terms of, no, not in terms of size, but so not at all. But it's just, then you see, oh, that was just a piece of the wider system. That was a universe within a universe. If you don't respect the established rules of the game, or your agreed upon, I should say, you don't respect the established rules of the game, you're refusing to exist in the game. And it helps everyone to have that structure, predictability and strategy, and also, how can you have a game without rules? So, and sometimes, of course, that can be fun, but you know, maybe there's only one rule. You have to speak when it's your turn. I don't give a shit. It's a card game, and there's literally no other rules. You can throw cards down, you can smack someone in the face with your cards, you can do whatever you want. You just have to speak when it's your turn. You can fucking leave. You just gotta speak when it's your turn. It's okay. But we have a rule, so we know what it means to exist in this world, and what it means to succeed in this world and to fail in this world. Otherwise, what the fuck are we doing? We're talking, hanging out. We can change the rules. We can say nothing matters. I mean, nothing within that world matters. That's fine. That's totally fine. In fact, if you have no respect for the rules, what you're saying is, this is just a game. I'm not entering into sort of a universe, in a sense. It is literally just a game, and it's just about, not literally maybe, but it's just a game in the most basic juvenile sense. And it's really just about connecting with you and talking to you. So if I don't want to talk on my turn, I'm just not gonna fucking do it. And we're gonna laugh about that because we're playing a bigger game of socializing. Absolutely, totally. So really, and most of this video has been me talking to sort of my devil's advocate. Anybody who I imagine disagreeing with me, and the reason that I thought you might disagree with me, because these are the sort of the things I hear. People think that I'm uptight about rules because either it's to my advantage, or I don't want to have fun or something, or I think that rules need to be strict, or I think that there needs to be lots of rules. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying rules are the fabric of the universe. What is and what isn't. What you can and cannot do. Anyway. Okay, wow. What am I doing with this video? Okay, should I start up Patreon? And then I just truncate it 5 minutes. That's what we'll do. Great, cool, awesome. Okay, so, because I like this. You know what I really like? These crepes. Odd gave me some crepe. Okay, so what's my bottom line? I don't know. Something, put it and we'll pin it as a comment. I have no idea what my bottom line is. About, like rules are, the system cannot exist without respect of its rules, because then it's a new system. The structure cannot exist without respect of its, let's be more poetic, its fucking beams. Somebody in construction can be more poetic. Actually, what I'm saying is so obvious. It's really just a reflexive property. No, I'm not. No, it is. Yeah, okay. Okay, whatever. Oh, amazing. Do you want some? Anyway. So, this felt like a new rule to me. Or no, there just needs to be limits. It needs to be clear. Is my shoulder in the wall, or am I just staying next to the wall? So, she basically just brushed it off and was like, okay. So then I made another comment about it. Like, that makes sense, right? Because blah, blah. Or maybe I was like, I don't know what I said. She just kind of brushed it off again. I was like, what is going on? She's so cool. But we just can't, I said today, this is the first time I'm really not treating you like a customer in my store. I'm about to show you the real me. I want to talk. I want to explore this. I want to learn from this. It's going to get intense. And you let me know whether you don't want to see the real me again. And I'll go back to the way I was. And she just chuckled. I was like, no. You're supposed to say,
No, don't be silly.
tell me not to be silly. So she's brushing it off, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? Say it. And also, I don't like the implication, the implied accusation of this. Today, I said something about it again because I don't want her to be afraid to say rep. That's like a huge part of the game. So I had done something and she could have called rep, but I caught it first. So I had like made a move, finished the move, wanted to make another move, and then realized. Well, actually, it was immediately after I made the first move. But so I said, as soon as I made that first move, you could have said rep, right? We agree? Anyway, she kind of made a face or something, I don't know. Anyway, so then we finally got to talking about it, and she was saying that it's illogical. And she was like,
I just think it's illogical.
the thing is, this is a game with established rules. My complaint is not that she said it's illogical. She said,
I just think it's illogical.
and the thing is, we should very easily be able to figure out whether or not it's illogical. Does this fit the spirit or rules of the game or not? It's not like, we're not comparing profits here. It's like 5 rules in the game. Then we can look at the language of the rules and also, of course, past behavior and what we've been doing. Because you can't all of a sudden interpret the rules a certain way. And we figure it out. But actually, no. It's more simple than that. I'm saying that a rule in the game is that you can't make a move before doing the necessary move. That's what I'm saying the rule is. And if she wants to say that you can't even be about to finish a move, so you can't even start a move or be in the middle of a move before, so if she wants to define make then, so I'm saying you cannot complete a move. Well, you cannot make a move. For me, that means do a move, complete a move. Because that's another thing. Well, anyway, whatever my rule is, the question is, does that fit with the other rules and the objective of the game? There are only like 3 other rules and 1 objective. So it should be pretty easy. Maybe you'll need a pen and paper to just figure out how the shit relates. I should do that now, but I'm not going to. Someone email me and let's do it together. So, yeah, it should just be very easy to figure out. But it was not. It was not. We just kept going round and round in circles. What was I repeating? I kept repeating, I guess, my question. Where does my rendition or my version, which is, by the way, the original version, of course, 'cause I taught her the game. Where does my where does my rule, as I've presented it, conflict with the game? And then she would just explain, it's just because you can do this, that, and the other. And I'm like, yeah, but where? But this, that, and the other meaning pick up a card and go, oh shit. And then do the correct move. So where does that conflict with the spirit of the game? She just kept saying,
It conflicts.
and there was also a part of it, well, she kept saying it's not logical. I mean, it's so easy. You just get into the vocabulary. So what do you mean it's not logical to you? So that either means that your opinion or what you're saying is that it seems to you that the rule clashes with the other rules in the system / the objective, so it clashes with the system, or this interpretation clashes with the system. Interpretation, I like that. This rule as stated clashes with the system. Okay, so let's do that again. Either it seems to me that this rule as stated clashes with the system, or this rule clashes with my system. There it is. So now if you say it's not logical, it seems to me that you're saying the objective one. It seems to me that this rule clashes with the game system, not the personal one. This rule clashes with my system. So it's illogical for me. Because then you would be like, oh, you wouldn't say it's illogical because I don't have your system. You can't say it's illogical. But see, if we're just clear about that, because there's all this confusion. People say,
Things can be true for some people, not true for others.
no, they can't. Unless you mean in this one sense, which is maybe half of the senses, then yes, but that's often not what you're talking about. So people often say,
Forget logic and rationality.
and what they mean is forget playing it safe or something. Am I going on a tangent? Or am I just drifting? What they mean is not, what am I trying to say? I mean, it ties into all of it. Which is why, did I start my video this way? Because this is how I was planning to start it when I was setting up the tripod. This interaction I had with Ard today, which was this whole conversation about it not being logical. And I was like, so what does that mean? Tell me. And also there was resistance to the idea that there is a universal logical that we can, of course, there is, depending on whether you're talking about the system or your system. So if you wait, here's what your system would be. And actually, if you're not following, this probably won't help, but your system might be, so it's mostly the rules of the game. And then there's a little attachment, which is to compete, to require visualization. So you like this game because, let's say, you're good at visualizing, and that's one of your strengths. And so one thing that makes you feel happy is to be playing a game where you rely on that strength, and the other person, and it's also a competition of where we keep motivate each other to visualize more. And since you like visualizing and since you're good at it, that's a great deal for you. So I don't actually think her issue with the moving was that it takes it out of visualization and makes it a reality, because now I'm just looking at the consequences of this move. If I'm looking at the consequences of this move, though, I'm still gonna miss this thing. Because in chess, that's why I mentioned this. In chess, one reason that we say if you touch it, you touch move. If you touch that piece, that's the piece that you're gonna move. One reason that we say it, is because it's a test of your ability to visualize. You're not allowed to touch anything you're not gonna move. God, why am I so inarticulate? If you pick up the piece and put it where you might want to put it, you are now looking at the possible reality rather than needing to visualize it in your mind's eye. And so if chess is a game of visualization, that is why there is a rule saying that you have to do it in your head before you touch it. And that if you touch it, well, now you can move that around, but that is what you're moving. You can't go back on that. You can't test this out. You can actually, if you agree to commit to that piece, you can then test things out. You can look. As long as you don't let go, of course. Actually, so it's really about how much you're allowed to test out. No, but it doesn't matter, because in rep, the rep thing isn't about the consequences of that move. It's that you shouldn't be making that move at all. And it has nothing to do with the consequences. It's because you need to make another move that's completely unrelated from that. So if she likes visualizing and is good at that, that would explain why she would want that to be an important part of the game and why she would value that in the game. Which means that if she sees me pick up a card and almost put it down somewhere, well, now you have failed to visualize. No, you didn't fail to visualize, you just failed to notice it. So when do you set the time limit? No. So, okay, so that was another interesting thing I talked about, which is that I could see how figuring this out is less simple than I thought. And as I presented earlier, because I completely forgot about this, it's that we have different thinking types. So for her, if you pick up the card and are about to move, so it's just a difference in personality. If you pick up the card and are about to put it down, that's it. You're committed to this action. For me, no, I'm doing last checks at the very last minute. I'm about to put my card down maybe, and I'm going, shit, is there anything that needs to go in the middle? Well, maybe I don't get that far, but it has to be extremely easily, well-defined and easily observable, right? That's why it has to be when you put the card down. Anyway, so how do you decide so then I suggested, after this conversation, you know what? I think it would be fun though to do that. If you even touch a card that you're not supposed to, the person can say rep. If you even touch your pile, and that's fun. I love little rules like that. Because it gets you, you gotta pay attention to so many things, right? That's why that drinking game is fun, because you're drinking and you gotta pay attention to all these different things, questions and queen and whatever, It's the point of games. To juggle a couple things, a couple time points. Anyway, God, why am I so hungry? So what was she saying isn't logical? And am I just a stupid person, or do humans have no real aptitude for discussing things? Because I don't know what I learned. I don't know what, because there was a lot said, and I repeated myself a lot too. I was like, what? Where is the clash? Can we put it into words? Of course, I'm trying to ask these things in French. That's well beyond my ability. I didn't know how to say clash, so I just kept going. Clash! Like that. Like, what do you see at every traffic stop in China? A clash! Of course, my version of the rule makes it clearly defined it's like any game when you ask for a final answer. But one thing is true: if you touch the wrong card, but that's kind of like the fun of it, trying to read the other people and trying to keep a poker face. Like if I touch the wrong card, well, I mean, I've never actually. I've never actually done it intentionally, because that feels a bit like cheating, but you know, if I touch a card and I'm about to move it and then I notice that my apartment does something funny or stops doing something, yeah, or if I like reach for something, you know, whatever, yeah, that's like part of the fun. It's like not giving anything away. I love that. I like look away every time, and then I realize I'm looking away every time. But these things, all you have to do is talk about them. It doesn't even take 40 minutes. If you and I, whew, if you and I are on the same page about what it means to be logical and of the value of getting to the truth, you can do that in like 10 minutes probably. But I don't have answers to any of these questions that I asked you that I said here in my video 100 times. I spent a lot of time talking about, I said you have the right to say that it's illogical, but I didn't mean like you're allowed to say that it's illogical, that you have a right to an opinion. I think that's the dumbest shit in the world. Either, and my reason why is either because of course you have a right to your opinion, or no, you don't have a right to anything. Or you don't have a right to an opinion in that context. So that's just always a stupid thing, I think. Or you have a right to an opinion, maybe not. Just say it out loud because that does real damage. I don't know. But anyway, so I didn't mean that. I meant you have the right to, or you have the right to say that because, let's do another one. You have the right to say that because such a thing can be logical or illogical. It's, you know, I was trying to, because, you know, some people might say,
What do you mean it's illogical?
It's just a game.
No such thing as illogical.
I think she might have said that at one point. And I was like, oh, yeah, and then that's why I said, oops, yeah. That's why I said, no. You're absolutely right to say that's illogical. I mean, I'm not saying you're right, but you have the right to say that. No, I'm not saying you have the right to say that. Obviously that. But also, it is logical for you to say that. All right. Since I have no idea what this video is stupid, I'm gonna let you go. And if you watch this, or maybe this is 20 years from now when I have my, when I have my cult on some island, maybe you're a journalist or a student, or maybe what I was originally gonna say is that a whole bunch of people are watching this. No, all the content I put up, why would a whole bunch of people watch this? Maybe because this is the time he said, why would, oh no, I say that a lot. Maybe because this is another time that he imagined a better world.